minutes, 30 minutes. All
Okay.
right, we are live. Hello. It is my favorite insurance guru, John Mooney, who I'm so happy to have met. Let's see, gosh, we've known each other since about 2000, I don't know, 18. And he is the master insurance. And I didn't have insurance. I didn't have health insurance. And I had a friend say to me, Dorothy, you need to have health insurance. I have a great guy for it. Here's his number. And I called him and I was like, this guy's like my friend already. Just talking to him. And come to find out he's a hockey fanatic. And I, of course, had to bring up the Red Wings. So this is John Mooney. He is our expert on health insurance, and we want to help you become experts too so that you can take advantage of your plan and make sure you're getting the best that your health insurance has to offer you. So, John, why don't you give us little tidbits about yourself, why you love what you do, and helping people?
Super. Thanks so much, Dorothy.
Mhm.
Appreciate your kind words. Um, how do I start? I guess I've been a licensed broker since 1986. So I've been doing this insurance thing for a long time. And as a broker, I work for my clients. They never get a bill from me. And I'm appointed with most of the available carriers here in California. And for my clients that are in other states, I do have appointments across the country. And so for my clients, one of the best things is that with one phone call, they can get information, benefits, rates, availability on a multitude of plans, which saves them time and money in the long run because they don't have to be fumbling around and calling 10 different people, talk to 10 different
Mhm.
carriers, and find out what the benefits are and then do their own comparisons.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's a big plus for people that work with me. And I take a kind of a holistic approach, if you will. You know, I try to understand what their needs are and what they want to accomplish, as well as what their budget is. And then we try to get them the most benefit for the least out of pocket cost,
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
the while trying to maintain the continuity in who they receive care from.
Mhm. Yes.
A lot of people, especially women, it's very personal when they get their annual checkups. They get, in a habit and they feel comfortable with their particular doctor. And it's not usually recommended to suggest that they have to change their OB or whomever.
Yep. Yep.
They want.
Yeah. Yep, I remember you helped me. I told you a list of my doctors, and that was big part of how we selected my plan too, is because my podiatrist, my dermatologist, my OBGYN, they were all in the health net. So, and that's a cost efficient plan as well. So, and I remember something else that you taught me, and I really am partly convinced, as I've been dibbling into the insurance world for coverage with my care, that people, blame health insurance, it's a headache, what does it cover? But really, I think people don't educate themselves on what it is for them, what is available to them, and what they're supposed to be doing to take care of themselves. I've read some horror stories, for example, of this one guy who, you know, 5 years went by and his wife had, a pretty detrimental, some kind of tumor, and
Mhm.
they didn't know, but it seems like how come you weren't getting your test done in those last 5 years? You don't just go for to the doctor when things you're not feeling well. You should be going every year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Dorothy, nowadays with the health insurance plans, you should definitely be going every year for that wellness checkup, that annual physical, because it is zero cost.
Mhm.
There is not even an office visit copay. A lot of people don't know that. I've had clients who've called me after they came back from the doctor and asked how come they had to pay. And eventually, we worked out communications with the doctor's office and they got refunded that money because there is no cost. If they ask you, you pay it and you walk away. That's kind of on the insured individual. But if you have a broker who you can talk to, who explains the plans and the benefits, things like that annual physical are zero copay. As a matter of fact, when it comes to that, anything that is nationally recognized as preventive care, mammograms, the pap smears, the colonoscopies, is a zero copay. A lot of people aren't aware of that. And they're afraid, oh, I don't have the money for the copay. I don't have the money for my deductible. You leave your wallet home, except for your ID card, and you go and get those services done.
Absolutely. And I remember you when I first talked to you, you were very adamant, you won't pay anything when you go have your annual done. And I'm like,
Right.
okay. I get it kind of just, you never really noticed anyway. And I'm the perfect example of one of those people that doesn't pay attention to that fine print. And I should, because I can be saving myself money. I
It is.
just trust that everybody knows what they're doing and they're not going to overcharge me and that's not always the case.
No, it's not.
And since I've been taking the steps to help people and let them use their insurance with me, I educated myself as well. And
Good.
that's why my services are now covered for over half of the population of Americans, because over half of us are overweight or obese.
Right.
Not you, but you're one of the select few. You're not normal, but American. But that 2014 Affordability Healthcare Act makes it so that preventative care is covered. And this is good news for dietitians. And even as a dietitian, I didn't know this until this year because I talked to the right dietitians where we have such a bad feeling in our head from the 90s that our services aren't covered, even though we know it's the cornerstone to health. I mean, of course, we think
absolutely.
we're very important. Yes, we
I
are
think
important.
Everybody, as especially as you get older, you're into your 40s or 50s, everybody should be consulting a couple times a year with a dietitian.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have so much knowledge. And I mean, I've listened to your other podcasts and you do recipes. You really put your heart and soul into helping others. And people just need to know that there are good people out there like you who do this. And now some of your services are even covered under the insurance plan.
So because of that wonderful 2014 Affordability Care Act, weight loss, if you are overweight and higher, overweight or obese, you are covered, should be 100%. No copay, because it is seen now as nutrition is a preventative measure to a lot of problems later on. And if you're already overweight, obese, you need to start learning already. So why waste money on the other commercial, other plans out there, the popular ones that we see on the street corner, the brick and mortars, or, all the fad diets out there that are going to cost you money because they don't take insurance.
Right.
And number two, they could be just a flash in the pan fad diet, help you lose quick weight, gain it back, and you're yo-yoing, which is even worse. And you're going to never learn how to eat for the rest of your life unless you see a true registered dietitian health professional that has actually been educated on how to do this.
Someone like yourself who takes the time to understand what that person is. They didn't just become obese overnight, and they need to modify probably gradually. and you put them on a program and you follow up with them.
Every week.
See, that's
Uh,
what they need. Not like you said, this flash in the pan person. Buy some product, come back in a month if you need some more, and hopefully you've lost some weight.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. I'm there, and I love helping people with it as well. So weight loss is covered. So don't need to waste your money or your time with those infomercials anymore. Just come see the true medically acclaimed health experts, which we are, registered dietitian, nutritionist, and not all of us take insurance, so some of them don't want to deal with it, which I understand. It's a can of worms, but I have
Mhm.
taken it upon myself to learn the ins and outs. That's been my New Year's resolution, and I now am, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Anthem, United Health, Health Net, Cigna, Aetna, and Medicare. So I take all those.
So
So,
you've done your job, and now you're considered in network
mm-hmm,
for a lot of people, which keeps their out-of-pocket costs low or zero.
mm-hmm, yep,
Excellent.
yep, no copay for weight loss.
And if people want to see you off of their insurance, or if you're not in network with a specific carrier that maybe they've got, then you can still work with them. They just might have a higher out-of-pocket.
Yep, exactly. And some of the plans, they have unlimited visits to see me.
Right.
It's so great, and I love not having to take money from people anymore. So I hate taking money from people. I'm the worst salesperson ever. But now all I have to do is go send it to the insurance, and then I get paid as great.
Uh-huh.
So it makes me happy. So why don't you tell us, like, I know you talked about like finding the right plan where their providers are. How do you help them, guide them, go your clients, because we are in open enrollment, right,
Mm-hmm.
for Medicare right now.
Correct.
So how do you how do you help guide your clients down the right path along with the provider? What other things do you do?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Dorothy, I'll sit with my clients and talk with them about what do they want to accomplish. Okay. And once we have an understanding for that, I like to get into just some basic definitions. It seems like a lot of people are confused and don't know what some of these terms mean.
Mhm,
Uh, the
mhm,
monthly premium is pretty obvious. That's what you pay every month. But how about your deductible? Okay, people get confused with that. The deductible, that's an amount of money that you pay first before the insurance company pays any of the bills.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
for example, if someone came to you, they had a $500 fee for your services, and if they have a $300 deductible on their plan, they would pay the first $300. And then what's left is two. And of that, now they have co-insurance. Their plan maybe pays 80%, they got to pay
mhm,
20, or maybe the plan pays 70, they got to pay 30. So that's the deductible and the co-insurance. The co-insurance is the percentage that people have to pay.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm, mhm,
The copay, it sounds similar, but it's different. The copay is a fixed dollar amount.
mhm,
Some plans may charge $45 for an office visit. It's a fixed copay. They may charge $55 to go see a specialist, or maybe $65 for an office visit. When you get into the Medicare, a lot of the office visits are zero copay. But
mhm,
we'll talk about the deductible. We'll talk about the copay and the coinsurance. These
mhm,
numbers are important because they add up to another number called the out of pocket maximum,
mhm,
the OOP.
mhm,
And what that means is, with healthcare reform, the plans are designed to provide a safety net for all enrollees. And that is the out of pocket maximum, which is the maximum amount anybody would pay for covered services in the calendar year. So if we were to go back to the scenario where someone has the copay, they're going to pay, their deductible and maybe 20% when their plan might have a copay of $6,500. When they've paid $6,500 in a calendar year, all services used in the balance of the year are going to be covered at 100%. A lot of times plans have very high deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very few people on a percentage basis reach that out-of-pocket maximum. So, I try to help people feel comfortable in accepting that number. It's not the end of the world. They'll probably never get there, but if they do, they probably have some major health concerns going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, we all know a few days in the hospital could be several $100,000.
Right.
When you look at that bill, even if you're responsible for 20%, that could be 20,000.
Yeah.
And maybe when you first met with me, you were thinking, oh my gosh, I got a $6,500 copay. Well, you can go without insurance. You have a $20,000 copay. So it's built into the policies to provide a level of protection for the consumer.
Right.
Those are important terms that a lot of people don't fully understand. It's never been explained to them. So we'll sit down and have that conversation so they understand those numbers. Okay.
Right.
One of the other things that I do also, Dorothy, is I try to get people to think a little bit differently when it comes to purchasing their insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It is a budget number on everyone's budget.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I want that plan. It's this much premium. And that's kind of all they focus on. I try to get people to understand that by asking questions. How often were you in a hospital in the last year, in the last 3 years? What's the likelihood that you may be hospitalized going forward? We take those things into consideration when making recommendations on, well, maybe you want to consider this plan at a $4,000 deductible rather than this one at a $7,500 deductible.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people never really think of that. And there's a considerable difference between premiums with higher deductible plans and lower deductible plans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So once you pay that premium, the dollars are gone out of your pocket forever. So I try to help people feel comfortable with the fact that, hey, get a higher deductible. You've not been in the hospital for the last 3 years. You've not been in the hospital all your life. Getting older, the likelihood does increase, but save the premium dollars. It could be $200, $300, $400 a month. If you save that $400 a month, that's $4,800 a year.
Mm-hmm.
You've saved it. You've got a $4,500 deductible. Okay, go into your savings and pay that deductible. But if you don't get hospitalized, you won't need to pay that deductible, and you will still have that $4,800 in your pocket or bank account that you can use for other things. So it's a little bit of a paradigm shift in how people think about purchasing their insurance and taking a calculated risk going forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You really explain it great.
Oh, thanks.
I love that. And, I know people that go without health insurance like I was for a while. And, honestly, out of care for people, you really should, because you never know. You could be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and have a horrible accident. And those hospital bills are huge.
You bet.
Mm-hmm. I did read something new. I'm not sure if you knew about this. This is a new policy that has just been passed that an emergency room visit now has to, at any hospital, has to be covered by the person's insurance. It doesn't matter if that hospital is part of the plan or not. Have you heard that?
That is correct. And I don't believe that that's necessarily new. Hospitals are mandated to treat people, whether they have insurance or not.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into the hospital, if you go into the emergency room, which is what you're referencing, then as long as it's a true emergency, life or limb threatening, you will receive care as though you were in network.
Then I need to look into this, because when I cut my limb, my thumb, and they told me to go, I was driving myself and blood squirting all over. I'm still getting those bills. I need to work on that. That when I read that, I was like, oh, geez, too bad that wasn't in effect a couple of years ago when this happened, 2020. But
Yeah.
yeah, see, all these things, when I hear people complain, and I've been one of the complainers, I think let's take control of our life here. Let's educate ourselves. I know I don't take the time to read the fine print, and I need to listen to people like you, and take control of my life and what is available to me. You saved yourself time and money if you listen and learn from
Right.
experts like you. And then like experts like myself, please stop. My plea is to stop wasting time and money on the fad diets out there that want
Yeah.
to take your money, because the diet industry is a huge industry. It's billions. And us dietitians have really gone to school and to learn this inside and out at least 5 years. Most of them have gone longer to help you. And we develop our practices from scientific based, unbiased studies. And I'll give you a quick rundown of the other diseases that are covered for nutrition counseling. We call it medical nutrition therapy, MNT. So overweight and obesity and any heart disease risk, those are the preventative that are covered most often 100%.
Oh, wow.
So even if you have a heart disease history, say, you have a grandma that had a stroke, that is a history in your lineage that you could use to go see a dietitian and make sure your eating is on par to prevent that, because genetically it's in your line. So, and genes are huge. I got the obesity gene. That's not I didn't choose that, but it's in my genes. It's like the deck of cards I've been given with. So can't have everything. So you learn how to eat to prevent that from happening to you in the future. So
Sure.
overweight, obesity, and how do you find out if you are overweight or obese? You go to my website, nutritionformen.com. And right on the front page there, check your BMI, which is your body mass index, to see where you stand in the paradigm of underweight, normal weight, overweight, and the 3 layers of obesity. And if you're overweight to obesity, you are covered. And cardiac disease risk. Now, speaking of underweight, so eating disorders are covered. Eating disorders are covered. There's a copay with that. Renal kidney disease is covered. There's a copay with that. And diabetes, type 1 or type 2 is covered. There's a copay with that.
Oh.
But cardiac disease, overweight, obesity is usually 100%.
Fantastic.
So, see me, and I know this. I've been studying this all year long. This is not like something that is the most interesting thing to study. I could definitely find other things, but I'm doing this to help more people, and so that you don't have to pay, and you can see me as much, and we can get these issues cleared. So I'm doing this for your benefit. Now, tell us, last, for some parting words. It is open enrollment. What do people need to do talk to us. Like, what are some movements we need to make sure that we're covered for this next coming year? Contact you. Tell us what we need to do.
Okay, well, one of the things people should do is they should go to your website. I've been there many times, Dorothy. It's a wonderful website. It's user friendly. You
Thank
have
you.
all this information there that is simple. And I'm not a tech person. So for me to say, hey, this is user friendly, that's a lot.
Okay, good. Thank you. I will tell
Yeah,
my boo.
I know insurance, not technology.
Yeah,
But
I hear you.
for open
Me
for
neither.
open enrollment, what people should really be doing is reviewing their plan. If they don't have a broker, they certainly can call me or email me. That's not a problem. And review the plan. Here in California, we have two options for enrollment. And one is to go through a subsidized plan, which you can get through Covered California based upon your income, where
Hmm.
the government will offset the total premium with money to you,
Hmm.
as long as you fit within certain income guidelines.
Hmm.
Um, the other way is if you make more money that you don't qualify for a subsidy, then you can go direct to a carrier. You can call someone like myself, and I can quote different plans and different benefits. We can check and see doctors, are they in the network? And that's an important thing too. Just let me touch on that real quick. In network, out of network. Most plans, if they're PPO plans where you have freedom to pick and choose your doctors, you should be using doctors, providers that have contracts with that carrier. They're considered in network. You get the most benefit, the biggest bang for your buck by going in network. Some of those PPO plans will also offer benefits if you go out of network. And that means if you use doctors who do not have a contract with those carriers. Some doctors take cash only.
Hmm.
That's it.
Hmm.
So in that case, when you go to an out of network doctor, you'll pay more. If your plan is 80/20, when you go to in network doctors, meaning the carrier pays 80% of the bill and you pay 20, this would mean out of network, maybe it's 50/50. So your out of pocket expense, your copays go up considerably. As I mentioned earlier in the very beginning, it's important, and I understand that. So they should review their plan, make sure that it's working for them. Maybe they've gotten a prescription drug or two that they need to take, and there's a copay on that. Those copays vary from plan to plan. Maybe they don't care about who their doctor is. As long as I go see a licensed doctor, it's okay. HMO plans are a little bit different. HMO, you sign up with a specific doctor in a specific medical group. That's where you go for your care. The doctor will treat you, or the doctor will refer you to a specialist within the group.
Hmm.
You go outside the group, you're out of the network. In the HMO, you're 100% responsible for the charges if you go out of network, unless, again, it's an emergency, life or limb threatening.
Hmm.
So I hope that answered your question and
Yep.
some things that people need to look at. It's not just the premium, it's the benefits. How often have you used it in the past? How often you think you're going to use it in the future? What kind of prescriptions do you take? Those are
And
important.
you told me something a couple of weeks ago. Blue Cross Blue Shield that covers the acupuncture and
Um, that was on the
chiro.
Medicare side, yes. So again, that it's very important on the Medicare side. Some of the plans do cover acupuncture and chiropractic. A lot of the plans will provide meals, nutritional meals for someone who's released from the hospital. They're getting nutritional meals in the hospital. They'll give them meals when they come home. Give them. They'll provide 2 meals a day for 7 days. And, the benefits vary from plan to plan. And then it's up to the individual to consult with an expert like yourself to maintain that good nutrition going forward so they don't wind up back in the hospital again.
Absolutely. They
You
are
know?
looking out for us. And let's, Seriously, I mean, I did go have acupuncture done. Let's see, last week, and I didn't have Blue
Uh-huh.
Cross Blue Shield, so I didn't think mine was going to be covered. And they took my Health Net card, and it was covered. All I had to pay was copay, $30. And because I'm in pain right now with my neck, I'm sleeping wrong or something.
Uh-huh.
But it was covered. And I'm telling you, that's the acupuncture is the biggest change I've seen on the other treatments I've had done for this chronic problem I've had now.
Hmm.
The acupuncture was the biggest change, and it was covered. So
Fantastic. That's good.
yay. So
Good for you.
that's what I'm saying. And with that, this is even the best story yet, and we'll end with this. But we did put your number, if that's okay. We put your number up
Yes.
there. And
Thank
then
you.
I'm going to have Nutrition for Men. My website is going to come up here too. Hint, hint. Right. And so that people can come there too to also click on insurance and see what the steps are to take to see if you would be covered. And if you're having a hard time, just call me. I can help you with it. Right now, I'm helping all my patients and I'm calling for them to see what is covered. I'm not going to do that for the rest of my life, but for the first year, I am doing that. So I'm learning as well. But
Good.
one of our friends, he was having to go to the chiropractor so much. He's very athletic. So he had to go to the chiropractor a lot. And he was having to go so much that his insurance actually covered for him to have a massage chair in his house. And I am not kidding you.
Wow.
This is real because it made more sense to have that than to pay for him to get the
Continually
massage
go. Yeah.
every week.
Sure.
So, I mean, so, you know, it is smart to have insurance. I know we all have had, bad experiences with things, but take control of your life. Take control. I know it's not the most exciting information to read, but some night when you can't sleep, pull out your insurance books, maybe read that. That'll put you to sleep. And,
That's what I
and
tell people.
maybe learn something and talk to experts like yourself. And I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to have been introduced to you, to have a lifelong friend, but also someone that really loves what he does too and explains it and takes the time
Well,
to
thank
to
you
give
very
me
much. I'm
that.
passionate about it like you are,
Thank you.
and I'm truly in it as a service to help others, just like
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
Maybe part of the reason we get along so well.
Yes, you are. I don't even need coffee around you. You just light me up. Well, thank you so much. We have your number here, and people can contact you to help them with their insurance enrollment
Happy
and
to.
come to my website to help them get them covered with nutrition, medical nutrition therapy. Everyone should do it. Everyone should check in on what they're eating once a year. And even if you're not overweight or obese, some people are still covered. So it doesn't hurt to check. Um,
Exactly.
Yes. And with that, we will see you maybe Monday at the welcome party.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, and thank you so much for spending time with me tonight. And
Thanks for inviting me, Dorothy. It's been my pleasure.
you are very
You're
welcome.
wonderful. You're
Ah,
wonderful.
thank you. Thank
Uh-huh.
you. All
Okay.
right. I'll see you soon next week.
Thank you.
You're
Bye now.
welcome. Goodbye.